Okay, in this video I'm going to walk through presenting the price, and this is going to be a customer that is a payment buyer. Okay, so as I walk through this, I'm just going to explain the steps. One thing to focus on are the word tracks that I use. Oftentimes it can be one little twist on a word that can totally make a sale go down at the end when somebody's right on the fence of moving forward or not. So other thing that's important is that, again, this is a sequence. It's connecting the dots all the way down to a sale. So there's some key word tracks in here, and obviously all sales and all closing situations go different. Obviously you get kicked off track from time to time. People don't always say what you're hoping or expecting they're going to say, and that's totally understandable. That's part of sales, but the key is having the discipline to get back on track when you get kicked off, and that's really what we all need to focus on when presenting price and going through our closing steps, is that when we get kicked off, we do everything we can to get right back on track and go to our next step. So first thing I want to do here, again, I put a job together. We're on the price tab, okay, and this project happens to be, it's 2,450 square feet, and we've got some add-ons in here, okay. So we built it again in our price tab. We're with John and Mary Smith. We're not going to present this. This isn't what we present. We present 60-month payment program first. So when we're ready to present this, we turn it around, show this to the homeowners. We want to recap the job first. We want to say something like, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, got this all figured up for you. We've got the colors you selected. We're going to fix the stucco on the back of the house, repair the fascia. Everything we talked about is only $22,732.50. Now I also took the liberty of working up an interest-free monthly payment for you, and with that we can get your payment at just $377 a month. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that payment will work for you, won't it? Okay, so that's our close. That's how we present it, and it's very important that we say, now that payment will work for you, won't it? We want to steer them towards payment. There's tons of studies that have shown that you're much better off trying to sell payment. If they're not a payment buyer, that's fine. They're going to end up telling us that. But we want to present it in such a way that, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, now that payment will work for you, won't it? And then you shut up and you wait. You wait for their objection. If they give you, what we want to do now is isolate price. So whatever the objection is, if they tell you it's priced right away, then we can handle that head on. If they give you some other objection like, well, we got to get 3 more estimates, so we'll call you later, then you need to do what we call the lie detector, because we want to get down to price. So if they tell you that, if they say, hey, we got to get 3 more estimates, you can say something like, okay, I understand that. Gosh, we talked about a lot here today. We talked about, the benefits of our product and our process. And it sounded pretty evident to me that you guys weren't, in the market for a paint job. So, let me ask you, is it, what do you think of our company? Are we the type of company you feel comfortable working with? Hopefully you get a yes. What about our product? I mean, certainly we talked about the product and the warranty, and it seemed to me that you guys were really excited about the warranty. Is that something you guys are comfortable with? Sure. Okay, well, folks, is it safe to say it's the price? And that's where you want them to get to say yes. Yes, it's the price. Okay, then what we're going to say is, okay, well, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, well, let me ask you, what is it you're not comfortable with? Is it the price or the payment? And this will typically tell us now if they're a cash buyer or a payment buyer. So if they say, well, it's the price, man, $22,732, that's ridiculous, that's way too much. Okay, then you can say, well, okay, well, let me ask you this. I mean, we got a payment of $377.36. I know you said it's the price. If and only if you were to move forward here today, let me ask you, do you typically make purchases like this with cash, or would you be looking at our payment program? Okay, so that's what we're going to find out. So, you might get a response like, well, we don't have $22,000 laying around for sure, so, if we were going to buy, I guess we'd have to use this payment, but, $377 is too much as well. Okay, the whole thing's just too much. All right, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, I can appreciate that. I can understand how you feel. So you're saying the payment is too much. Let me ask you, how much too much is it? Is it $20 too much, $30 too much? How much too much is the payment? All right. Now, what I've just said is very important, because what we want to do is we want to prime them for a small number. If I just ask them, well, how much too much is it? They may tell me, well, it's like $200 too much, But if we prime them with saying, well, how much too much is it? Is it $20 too much, $30 too much? How much too much is it? What we're doing is we're kind of planting a seed, and we're probably going to get something like $50 to $100 too much if we presented it that way. So again, let me roll it through again. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, how much too much is it? Is it $20 too much, $30 too much? How much too much is it? Gosh, we were thinking more like, 200 or 250 something. I mean, the 377, that's like a car payment, yeah. So it sounds like if I could get this payment down to around, 250, 270, we could go ahead and get your job started today. And if you get a commitment from them, like, yeah, how would you do that? Well, tell you what, folks, here's what I can do. We do have another payment program, and if you can help us out, let me see what I can do to help you out. Folks, if you'll allow us to put a sign in your yard, and, maybe we can take some before and after pictures of your project when it's done. That always helps us for marketing purposes. And, when you're completely satisfied, if I could get, either a video testimonial or even just a testimonial letter, I'll go ahead and I can bump you into our 84-month program, and that brings your payment down to just $270 a month. Now, folks, what do you say? Can we go ahead and push the go button and get your job started? Okay. So there you go. So again, we want to try to, we want to isolate the payment and then suggest, is it $20 too much, $30 too much, so that we can jump to 84, and our hope here is that we get close. Now, let's say in this situation, let's just back up, and let's say we were here, and I said, how much too much is it? And they said, wow, with our budget, we can only really afford $200 a month. I mean, if you could get it down to 200, I bet we could probably do this, but, 377 is out of our budget. And then you would go through the same, well, hey, if we could do a yard sign and get some before and after pictures and maybe a video testimonial, tell you what, I can bump you up to our 84-month program, and that brings it down to just $270 a month. Now, folks, I understand that you said you were hoping to get the payment at, $200 a month, and we're about $2 a day more than where you were hoping to get your payment. Folks, I'd hate to see you guys compromise, the look and the integrity of your home, and with the energy bills, we talked about that we're probably going to save about $100 a month on your power bill. So I know, we're looking at a payment of $270 a month, but let's just be conservative. Let's say we save $50 to $70 a month. Really we're getting this down right there to your comfort zone of $200 a month. So, John, Mary, what do you say? Why don't we go ahead and push the go button and get this started today? Okay, and then you offer your hand to shake their hand, all right? So, maybe they'll shake your hand and you got a deal. Okay, if they don't, if they're like, well, hey, this is all great, I'll tell you what, why don't you leave me a copy of this, and we'll call you back in a few weeks. We'll call you back when we're ready to buy. We're not buying anything today, okay? And you'll get that a lot. Okay, that's where you can say, okay, well, folks, let me ask you, when do you think you'd be making a decision on this? Typically, they'll tell you something, a relatively short time frame. Oh, we're going to make a decision in a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. That's when you can say, wow, that's soon. Well, if that's the case, I should definitely tell you about our day of demonstration discount. Now, folks, this works great for people that know they're definitely going to improve the exterior of their home, and they know they want Star Home Energy to do the work for them. And, folks, if you've come to that conclusion here today, I can actually save you an additional 10% off the project. Now, folks, that's $2,273 that comes right off of the price, and that brings the price down to just $2,459. It actually gets your payment down to just $243 a month. Now, folks, I know that'll work for you, won't it? And again, offer your hand to shake their hand, okay? And, if they get into, wow, Dave, demonstrate, you mean that's for today only? Like I have to buy today? Yeah, folks, that's, we've just found there's a cost of doing business and going back and visiting people. And, in an effort to earn your business here today, we're offering, 10% off. and it's $2,273 in a low monthly payment of only $243 a month. What do you say, folks? You know, I feel I'm obligated to get you the best possible price that I can, and that's what I'm offering you here today. So let's go ahead and get your job started. Okay, something like that. That's the way you want it to roll at the end. But we don't want to offer the day of demonstration discount until we need to, okay? And oftentimes, just by simply transitioning from here, if you've done a good job of planting the seed, well, you know, how much too much is it? Is it $20 too much? $30 too much? It's about $100 too much. Okay, so what you're saying is if I could get this down to around $270, we could get your job started today? Yeah, we could afford that. Boom. There you are. You're there. Now, you know, as they say, you're going to make him either a buyer or a liar, because they just told you if you could get it to 270, we could do business. So there we are. So this is very effective, but again, the word tracks have to be there, and you know, these are great word tracks for the payment option. Okay.